Welcome into the End the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach along with Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting, Jim Goodman. Last day of racing for this week. Only 3 days left after this one. No racing tomorrow because of Easter Sunday. And we take a look at the last 4 races on the card, and we start with the feature of the day, the Grade 3 Coolmore Lexington Stakes. We'll talk about the other 2 stakes races as well and give you a late pick 4. But, Jim, let's take a look at the Lexington for 3-year-olds at 1 mile and a 16th. The last chance to pick up a few points for the Derby. I don't know if any of these horses have designs on trying to get in that field, but this is a nice group. And I was kind of having a tough time between Divine Oath and Mr. Speaker. Who did you go for?
I went with Mr. Speaker, and I think these horses, none of them have any points, I don't think, for Derby, but if they got 10 for first place, the way they're dropping out, 10, they get you in. Right now, 20 certainly gets you in, and Cairo Prince is sitting right there on the bubble, but he's definitely in. That's what I'm interested in. Mr. Speaker stepped forward in the Grade 3 Palm Beach last time out at Tampa and at Gulfstream, and he finished second at the Gala Award. He came back and ran okay last week, but I think he's going the right direction. He hasn't run on Polytrack yet, but most turf horses do well. Shug McGahee gets them ready. He's got Lescano, so I'm going to go with Mr. Speaker on top here. I'm going to box him with the 2 Solitary Ranger, who was a big disappointment to me in the Spiral. After he won the job in Battaglia by 4 3/4 at 9-1, I thought he had a real shot in the Spiral, and he just didn't fire. They're bringing him back here. Catalano didn't give up on him, and Giroux's coming in to ride him from Arlington. So I think Solitary Ranger has a shot, and I'm going to take Amy's Holiday and maybe Fletcher's horse Supermonic below those 2. I'm going to wheel those 2 on top in a trifecta, box them and exacta, Mr. Speaker and Solitary Ranger.
There's a lot of different ways I could see going underneath. I'm going Mr. Speaker is the pick to win, but I could just as easily be talked into Divine Oath. So what I'll do is take both of those on top at exactas, thinking one of the 2 will win. And then underneath, I'd use those 2 plus the 10 Global Strike, if he indeed runs here, the 8 Right Away, the 9 Supermonic as well. And if you want to go even a little deeper, I'd say the 2 Catalano horses, Solitary Ranger and Poker Player, are worth a look. But Mr. Speaker is the pick, and just narrowly over Divine Oath. Let's go to the race that starts the pick 4 sequence, and we'll just talk about these 2 stakes races. The Giants Causeway Turf Sprint for fillies and mares. Got a couple of horses in Sweet Cassiopeia and Queen's Award that have done well here before, but are big prices in here. Who did you go for?
Yeah, I thought I like Sweet Cassiopeia, but she really hadn't been in great form lately. So I went with 2 horses that are coming out of the Gulfstream Park Ladies Turf Sprint, and All I Want for Christmas and Believe in Charlie. And I went with just barely All I Want for Christmas simply because she's drawn inside. Lescano is a move up from Serpa. I think that race, when you go back and watch it at Gulfstream, I mean, they were 1-2, and they were, although Believe in Charlie won, All We Want for Christmas was steadied a little bit in the lane. So I'm going to give her just a slight edge, but I like boxing horses that come out of the same race. You either don't use them or you use both of them. So I'm going to use both of them on top here. The other horses, Point to the Wild, the 3 horse for Brad Cox. I really like him, and he spots them very well. Queen's Award has done well on the track. In the Buffalo Trace last year, she was 30-1. So if you had her then, it was wonderful. Ageless is drawn on the outside and may have a shot, but I don't like the 10 hole here. So All We Want for Christmas and Believe in Charlie. I'm going 1-2 here.
I'm going to take Ageless. I'm not wild about the post either, but this horse seems to have run some of its best races since moving to the turf sprints about 3 starts back. Le Perou's really good at working out a trip, and horse ought to be really fit coming off Tampa's circuit. So Ageless for me, and I like Sweet Cassiopeia just on the back class. Queen's Award, who I think will run a much better race than she did last time. And To My Valentine I'll also use. And I could go even deeper if it wasn't for wanting to keep the ticket small enough. So this is if you can single in on a horse or 2 later in the pick 4 sequence, then you might even go all here because it's a really tough spot. 8th race, the Grade 3 Ben Ally. And there's several horses in here that have shown an affinity for this track. Winning Cause, certainly one of them. He absolutely loves it here. I thought the race last Sunday certainly is a good tune-up for this. Pletcher's not one to run him back on 6 days too often. So when a guy like that does this kind of move, I pay attention. I think he's certainly just trying to take advantage of a horse that just loves this course and take a shot with a horse who's in good form that he can run right back. And I'm going to say Winning Cause will do that and win the Grade 3 Ben Ally. I like Newsdad, the 10, Frack Daddy, the 9, the 1, Norum Bega for Shug McGahee. But I'm going to key Winning Cause and Exactas with all of those. What about you?
I took Newsdad on top. Ran his best buyer ever in the Fayette Stakes in 2012 at 103. In the Pan American at Gulfstream, he won that, and it should set him up very well for the Ben Ally. I think your horse. I agree. Winning Cause loves Keeneland, but coming back on 6 days rest bothers me a little bit. I think that might be a little too close. They probably didn't want to run him back at Churchill. So he does love Keeneland, but I think the 6 days rest is a minus rather than a plus. Frack Daddy, I can't figure him out. He ran in all the 3-year-old races for McPeak, and then he comes back and runs really well, and then he runs really bad. So don't know which one's going to show up. The other horse I think has a shot in here is Red Rifle. He's a threat to steal it under Alvarado because if you look here, I don't know where the other speed comes from in this race, and he went wire to wire at Sam Houston last out and beat Frack Daddy. So I'm going to say that Red Rifle is going to go the lead and may try to take them all the way. But Newsdad is my pick right here.
Red Rifle's the last one that I scratched out. So my pick 4 starts with 11, 8, 9, 7, then 6, 9, 1 in the Ben Ally, then Divine Oath and Mr. Speaker, 6 and 1 in the third leg. And then I like Athenian Beauty, shaky win pick in the last race. I want to use that one plus the 9, Wonderful Miss B, the 2, Giant Diamond, and the 5, Jester and Me. What's your late pick 4 look like?
Well, I'm going to take your advice in the 7th race, the Giants Causeway, and go all. And because I've got 5 in here, and I can make a case for about 7.
Yeah.
I liked All We Want for Christmas and Believe in Charlie, but I can make a case for nearly every horse in here. So I'm going to do all here. I'm going to single Newsdad in the second leg, and then in the Coolmore Lexington, Giants Causeway. I'm also going to single Mr. Speaker. So I'm going to single the 2 middle legs and go as deep as you could afford in the last race because it's awfully tough. But 2, 4, 5, 9 were my picks. So that would be a reasonable ticket if you go all with the 2 singles with 4 horses and just go as many as you can afford because the last race, the $20,000 maiden claimers, is not much of a race at the end of the day, but it may get you a big price.
So the pick 4 starts in race 7 and includes the 3 stakes races. Best of luck with your selections on the Saturday card at Keeneland. Don't forget to check out our other podcast for Saturday, in which we talk about the major stakes races around the country, including the Illinois Derby up in Chicago and the Charlestown Classic later tonight featuring Game On Dude. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach. This has been the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.